Hey there, tech fans. Rick here again from the OREI team with a full overview of the UHD-EXM 500 Pro-K HDMI extension kit. This product was engineered to make it very easy for you to share all of your HDMI media content from one location with a second remote location up to 400 feet away over a single Cat6 or Cat7 LAN cable. The product fully supports 4K ultra-high definition media content at up to 60 frames a second, and it's both HDMI 2.0 as well as HDCP 2.2 compliant, which means it's plug-and-play compatible with a wide range of modern media gear. The transmitter module features local loopback functionality, which allows you to continue to enjoy the content at the primary location while you're simultaneously sharing it with your remote location. And the remote receiver features audio extraction capabilities, including ARC, where it can digitally separate the audio component from the media being sent there, and then allows you to pass that audio through the SP-Diff connection on the front to a home stereo or a soundbar for that full theater experience. The kit also includes a set of infrared blasters that will collect up the remote control signals from that secondary location and then pass those back digitally over the same LAN cable to the primary location where they're rebroadcast so you can remotely control the content you're watching. And finally, this can be set up in a one-to-one relationship with a single transmitter and a single receiver, or a one-to-many where the same transmitter can broadcast that same content to multiple remote locations. Now, as part of this overview, I'd like to start with a quick unboxing just to show you everything that's included with the kit. And then I'll take a closer look at the transmitter and the receiver, and I'll explain the connections and indicators so you understand how to use them. I'll list the features and functions the product provides, and then I'll come back and do a short demonstration to show you just how easy this product will be to use with your own equipment. So let's get started with the unboxing. When you first open up the box, you'll find a transmitter module and a receiver module. You'll find two 5-volt 1-amp DC power supplies. You can plug this into any standard wall outlet. The other end of the cable has a barrel connection on it which plugs into the back of the module and provides all the power you'll need for operation. You'll find a pair of infrared blasters, one for the receiver, one for the transmitter, and they're labeled, so make sure you plug those into the correct module. You'll also find a bag that has bracketing kits you can use to mount the modules up off the ground and out of the way, as well as connections you can use if you decide to transfer RS-232 connection signals between those two locations. And finally, a full instruction manual is also included that lists connection diagrams, specifications, and a lot of other really good information about the product that you'll need to understand in order to use it correctly. Now, if you stay tuned next, I'll take a closer look at both modules, I'll list the features and functions, and then I'll come back and do that demonstration. Inside the kit, you'll find a transmitter module and a receiver module. Both of these feature full metal enclosures which make them incredibly durable and a great choice for both residential and commercial installations. Let's start with the transmitter module first. On either side of the cabinet, you'll find these ventilation slots that are really designed to let any heat that develops during operation escape and keep the electronics inside at a very comfortable temperature. You'll also find mounting holes on both sides that can be used with the included bracketing kit to mount the module up off the ground and out of the way. On the front of the module, starting on the left, you'll find a power indicator. The minute you add power to the module, it immediately starts an internal power on self-test where it checks the electronics, and once it passes that test, it'll light the power LED, letting you know the module's ready to use. To the right of that is a status indicator. When you make the connection between the transmitter and the receiver modules using the Cat6 or Cat7 LAN cable, that connection is checked. Once it's been verified, the status LED will come on, indicating a solid connection between the modules and the fact that you're transmitting media content to the remote location. To the right of that is an ARC indicator. Both the transmitter and the receiver are ARC compliant products, and if you're using media equipment that's also ARC compliant and you want to take advantage of the ARC standard, when you make the connections to the transmitter and the receiver, that is checked as well, and the ARC indicator will come on, letting you know that ARC is active. So under normal operation, all three of these LEDs should be on. To the right of that are two 3.5mm ports that are used with the infrared blaster kit, labeled IR in and IR out. In the case of the transmitter, you'll plug the module into the IR out port right there. That's labeled transmitter. Both modules provide audio extraction capabilities where they can separate the audio from the media stream being shared. And if you'd like to take advantage of that feature, you can connect this optical SP-Diff port right here to your local TV that's ARC compliant. To the right of that is an RS-232 connection block. You can also send RS-232 signals between the modules, and if you choose to do that, you can make a connection here using the connectors that are in the kit. To the right of that is an upgrade port, and that's used for updating the firmware on the module later on if needed. You'll simply connect this to a computer, move the firmware file over to the module to complete that upgrade. On the rear of the module, starting on the left, you'll find a reset button. You can hold that down for a few seconds to instigate a reset on this particular module. To the right of that is a LAN port, and that's where one end of the Cat6 or Cat7 cable plugs in between the two modules. To the right of that are two full-sized HDMI ports labeled HDMI in and HDMI out. The HDMI in port connects to whatever media device you'd like to share the content from with your remote location. And this product also provides local loopback functionality, which allows you to enjoy the content here at the primary side that you're sharing with the remote location. And if you'd like to take advantage of that feature, you can connect another cable from here to a local monitor. Finally, to the right of that is a DC input port, and that's used with the included power supply. You'll simply plug that power supply into a standard wall outlet. The other end of the cable has a barrel connection on it, which plugs in right there and provides all the power you'll need for operation of the module. The receiver module, again, is very similar. Metal enclosure, ventilation slots on both sides, as well as mounting holes for the bracketing kit. On the front, power indicator, status indicator, arc indicator. Two more ports for the infrared blasters. Now, in the case of the receiver, you'll plug the module into the infrared in port. Another SPDIF optical port right there. This will connect to a speaker or an amplifier at the remote location using an optical cable. You can turn ARC on by tapping that button right there, and then the arc indicator will light up. To the right of that, another RS-232 connection block and another upgrade port for the receiver. On the rear, you'll find another reset button on the left. Again, you can hold that down to reset the module. To the right of that is a LAN port, and that's where the other end of the Cat6 or Cat7 cable from the transmitter plugs in. To the right of that is an HDMI output port. That connects to a local monitor at that remote location you'd like to use to enjoy the content. Always use a high quality cable for that connection to ensure the best quality image. And finally, to the right of that is another DC input port that's used with the second power supply at the remote location. You'll plug that into a wall outlet. The other end of the cable has a barrel connection on it and plugs in right there just like it does on the transmitter end. And that's pretty much it for the kit. The OREI UHD-EXM 500 Pro-K is compatible with most modern HDMI media sources, including streaming devices, digital projectors, computer systems, game consoles, and media players like Apple TV. The product's features include full support of 4K ultra-high definition media content. Additional receivers are supported with the original transmitter. It is both HDMI 2.0 as well as HDCP 2.2 compliant. It provides 400 feet of extension between the primary and secondary locations and features local loopback functionality and ARC audio extraction capabilities. Now I'll show you just how easy it'll be to use this product with your own equipment. And for this demonstration, over here I've set up a small media player that's currently looping a video on this monitor, and that's the media content I'd like to share with my remote location. Over here I've set up a second monitor. This represents that remote location where I'd like to enjoy the content from the primary side, and these can be up to 400 feet apart. In front of me I have the transmitter module here and the receiver module here. Now the first connections I'll make to both modules are the power supplies because I want to give them plenty of time to go through their power on self-test before I start transmitting media content. I've plugged the power supply in at the remote site. The other end of the cable has a barrel connection on it which plugs directly into the DC port in the back of the module, and the same for the transmitter. I plugged the second power supply in, barrel connection into the DC input port. Right now both of these modules are going through the internal power on self-test where they're checking the electronics. Once they pass that, they're starting to look for that LAN connection between them, so I'll add that next. That has to be a Cat6 or a Cat7 cable. I've got a short one right here, but again it can be up to 400 feet away. So I'll plug that into the receiver and the other end of it into the transmitter. Now the minute I make that connection, both modules now know about each other. They're starting to handshake between them, establishing that connection. The transmitter's waiting for the media content to be connected so it can make whatever adjustments are needed to send the best picture to the monitor, and the receiver's waiting for the monitor to be connected so it can determine what type of resolution that monitor can display. So let's start with the monitor first at the remote location. I'll plug that directly into the HDMI output port. And now we're ready for the media content on the primary side. I'll disconnect the HDMI cable from the monitor, and plug that directly into the HDMI input port on the back of the transmitter. And the minute I do that, both of these modules at this point now know that products have been connected to them. They're going to check the resolution of the media content on the transmitter side and the resolution of the monitor on the remote side, and there you go. So what you're viewing here is content from the primary location that's HDMI that's been converted into a signal that can be sent over the LAN cable and then converted back into an HDMI signal that can be displayed on this monitor. And again, they can be up to 400 feet apart. Now, one other feature the transmitter provides is a local loopback function, which allows me to actually enjoy the content here while I'm sharing it with that remote location. And to take advantage of that feature, you'll need one more HDMI cable, and you'll plug that into the HDMI output port on the transmitter and the other end of it into that local monitor. It'll take a second for that to adjust, and you'll see the same image come up here. And the nice part about that is I can continue to enjoy the content here while I'm simultaneously sharing it with my remote location. And the last thing I'll mention is this kit supports a one-to-one relationship where the single transmitter can send media content to a single remote location, or a one-to-many relationship where I can have the same media content distributed to multiple remote locations by simply adding additional receivers. And it really is just that easy to get it working. I hope you found this overview of the OREI UHD-EXM 500 Pro-K HDMI extension kit helpful. This product provides an incredibly easy way for you to share all types of HDMI media content from one location with a second remote location up to 400 feet away over a single Cat6 or Cat7 LAN cable. The product fully supports 4K ultra-high definition media content at up to 60 frames a second, and because it's both HDMI 2.0 as well as HDCP 2.2 compliant, it works fine with all of your modern media gear and a wide range of different media file types. The local loopback functionality in the transmitter allows you to continue to enjoy the content at the primary location while you're sharing it with your remote locations, and the audio extraction capabilities on the receiver will actually digitally separate the audio from the media being sent there and allows you to pass that along through the optical SPDIF connection to a home stereo or an amplifier for better quality audio. Finally, the included infrared blaster kit provides complete remote control between the primary and secondary locations, and you can operate this in a one-to-one relationship with a single remote location or a one-to-many where you can transmit the same media content to multiple locations at the same time. Everything you need to get started is included with the kit, and with a few simple connections, you can be up and running in no time. So until next time, thanks a lot for watching.